This is so weird though. Oh man! Oh, this episode! Oh, what a horror episode, yeah. But she seems to be way stronger, right? Because she doesn't die from this. Tadaima! That's what I expect her to be. Open the door now and be like, Tadaima! I called it! I called it! I knew it! Tadaima! I knew it! I knew it! I called it. Obvious. It was obvious. I knew it. I called it. I called it. I knew it. I knew it. Fuck! I fucking knew it. I was like, she's gonna come in here and be like, Tadaima! When they're shoving that freaking button, baby. Hammer, smash, hammer the like button. Share the video so right. Because hello everyone, here. Time of course for a Summertime Render episode 7 review with the hammer. Because I don't own a sledgehammer, but I want a hammer, you know. I'm a grown ass man. I have a goddamn hammer at home. Seriously, as a side note, before we do the hammer review, I always say this thing. As a grown up, or if you live in your own house or whatever, buy those freaking repair kits, okay? You can go to like IKEA or something, and you can pick up a repair kit for like $10, right? You get a hammer, right? You get one of those screwdrivers, you can, you know, change the one. I had one of these repair kits for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years something now, in this house. Basically, it's every time I move into a house, if I don't have my own kit, I have my same kit a few times now, but yeah. Buy one of these goddamn repair kits, right? Freaking so cheap to get you this really effective stuff, right? With the screwdriver you get, with the extension screwdriver, it's so effective to have. Little life advice here. And also, you know what? You can also hammer little evil girls. But this is a video out of context. Someone's gonna be like, your modern says you should hammer little daughters with your hammer or something. Yeah, he's saying you should hit your, yeah. It's gonna be out of context. It's gonna be great. No, but I guess it's fine to hammer little evil demonic girls with like evil shadow powers. Then the hammer is useful. But seriously, great episode, very brutal, right? And of course, this episode is no Berserk or whatever, but clearly I purposely put the screen like this, because I would say a side on here, I do find that YouTube and TikTok or whatever, Twitch and all stuff, right, it's kind of weird, because if you play a horror game, right, if you play like Resident Evil, all that, you can have all these death scenes and so on, right, in a horror game, and it's fine, but if you talk about an anime or even just, you know, other stuff, horror movies, suddenly it's like, no, you can't show a person getting their, you know, head crushed or whatever, but it's fine in a game, right? Usually. So it's kind of strange also, I feel. But anyway, I won't show you the scene though when she actually does hammer the father though. That scene I will say I actually do personally find. I won't say that, oh, I can handle it. I'm saying that like this scene here, right? With her hitting the evil spawn, the main demon, she's actually the lead, right? Hitting her, this I think is fine. Should be fine. I would argue for it in social media. But the father scene, and somewhat the mother scene, but the father scene, which takes the hammer, which like goes down on him, you know, yeah, like that scene was very horror. That felt very Guru, which she smacked him in his head, like yeah, that felt like I watched like a horror movie or something. But seriously, this episode, the first thing I was saying in the review before we talk about the actual storyline and so on, right, which is of course the interest part, I feel mostly of Summertime Render, is that this episode was a lot more action-packed. It was a lot more horror, right? In the sense that it was more, you know, what's called slasher, yeah, of course. This episode was way more slasher. It felt a lot more like a typical Hollywood, you know, not Hollywood, but somewhat Hollywood, but you know, like a typical like American, like 70s kind of half-ass produced slasher movie. Yeah, it felt a lot more like that. Still not, of course, on that level you see in like America, right? Because that's kind of this typical culture thing. That in America, you know, horror and so on is more brutal than Japan, but in Japan it's more, you know, etchy, right? Yeah, the plot is bigger, you know, the oppas are bigger. That certainly is different culturally, right? Like, yeah, definitely. In America, and you can even see this episode, right? Because you do see her and her oppas are flying around, she's fighting, right? So it's less tomato use. If it was an American production, it would be way more tomato use. But here instead it's more boobs. Yeah, that's the benefit of anime. You're like, more boobs. And definitely want to bait us with the Miyu scene. I want to say this thing here before, because it always was a bait. They were like, Miyu has been killed, right? She's been killed by a clone or whatever. Doppelganger. That's how the scene was first presented. But I want to say this thing before I go into the big detail of the rest of the episode. I didn't believe it first, right? Kinda, because it felt too obvious. But, there was a bait, I mean. But I do think it's fair, though, to say that I expect, you know, that because he's doing different time loops, like in F-Zero or so on, he's doing different time loop versions, right? I definitely expect that maybe in time loop C, he saves, let's say, Ushi or Miyu or whatever, right? Or Alan, his papa or so on, he saves these characters. And then in the time loop 7, he's doing a very different, you know, playthrough. And then, of course, Miyu dies, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense that Miyu should actually die in one time loops. And of course, obviously she has been killed, but I mean, die earlier. Okay, like she could have died maybe, just after the bike scene and so on, because this time I'm gonna run over there, right? Because if you play these games with time loop, right? If you can diverge massively in the beginning, you might cause a huge difference, right, for the other characters who usually save. So I would like to see that if maybe in one later time loop he makes a very, very different, start zone basically. Like he runs away. Oh, I'm going to Sensei over here, immediately runs away or something. Sorry, me, I need to go there. This is very important, right? Because he has like a new task. I need to talk to this guy, immediately. And then she gets killed, on the sideline. That could happen, right? I think it would be interesting if that could be a thing later. That he's like, because he's so eager to do, this mission. I need to talk to the wheelchair person, and then if he gets about protecting me or something. So that could be really interesting. Or whatever, Sensei, or, But now I'm talking about little evil shadow girl, right? She's obviously, and I think I've been writing this shit for a long time, right? So I feel vindicated. No, but seriously, I don't think it's that obvious. Or say, now let's talk about little evil shadow girl, right? And I feel vindicated. No, but I've been right, Press the subscribe, press the like button, No, but seriously, I feel that I am pretty good at predicting storylines, right? That's one thing I'm good with, like when I review stuff. I feel like I'm pretty good at, okay, this person is evil, yeah. And I mean, I've been saying since episode 2 that she was replaced, that her or Uchi or whatever was replaced during that the drowning incident, right? That was when she died, and that was of course boob lady shadow slayer's reasoning, right? Last episode, she was like, that's probably how it happened, and this feels almost confirmed now, right? Let's point out again. I think that seems very, very clear. That is when she entered, when the drowning is actually when they replaced the person. So probably the whole reason, right, that the actual little girl actually drowned was probably because the shadow made her drown, right? That's probably how it even started, right? That she was like pulled down into the water, right, and then of course replaced her body, right? The actual body, the actual little girl is drowned, and that she's been her for a few years, right? So yeah, I think that to me again is like a no-brainer, right? Because it's pretty obvious, right? You live at this like island. When this girl is out swimming, you of course you copy her, or maybe copied her earlier, but the point you have her copied, and then you pull her down in the water, right? She drowns. She's like a I don't know, like an 8-year-old or whatever, right? Now she's like 10 or whatever, yeah. And she's 8, it happened, right? And then you can replace her, and then you can grow as her little the demon spawn can live in her life, right? So that to me seems like the best strategy generally at an island as well, right? You might again, especially if there are more than one shadow. Because then the other shadows can dispose of the actual body later as well, right? And it's easier to do it because it's in the water and so on, and humans can't swim that long, and you have probably... I mean, I assume, this is a pure assumption, of course, but given how the shadows have more physical strength, right, and so on, they certainly can also probably breed either longer in the water, or perhaps they can just breed underwater, right? That might be a thing, right? They live on an island and so on. But at least they should be able to do it longer, right? That makes sense, right? So anyway, I feel very confident that that's when she died, as that's episode 2, and I guess that's the reason why she's so much stronger too, because as we keep hearing this episode, when we keep fighting her, you're like, man, this girl can do this shit. She can like teleport, almost. She can like turn tiny. She got way more power than the parents. Several times she commented on like, we need a plan B for her, we need this thing, we need a contingency plan, right? And she, first of all, much more resilient, right? She get the stabbing thing didn't kill her, the hammer thing didn't kill her, but that arguably was a miss. But even how could she miss her? Because she kind of weirded around the shadow, right? And then of course here as well, she can do some weird, I don't know, dodging all the nails and so on. She was way more powerful, yeah. And I guess the reason is kind of like similar to a lot of horror stories, I guess in general, vampires and so on, right? She's like the mother vampire or whatever. And I like that concept, right? I thought about earlier with her, that she's the little tiny evil girl. What I like about that is that, I like this concept. Okay, now it's hard to not spoil other stuff, so I'll keep quiet here, because there's a lot of other, not just animes, but games, particularly in my head now, and also horror movies, where the little one is evil, right? And I don't just mean horror movies like Orphan, which I feel is fine to spoil, because the whole concept of Orphan is that it's a little evil girl, right? Or like Damien, right, in Omen and so on. It's a little evil boy, right? That's the whole premise, right? So I'm not talking about those movies. But more like Resident Evil or whatever, right? Like I like the whole concept of having a little evil, yeah, the evil Damien or whatever, you know, is actually is the leader. Because the interesting part is that, from like an actual horror standpoint, or like even, and then also in the anime fight standpoint, right? She enters, right? Shadow Slayer Boobs enters, and she fights the parents, right? And they're pretty powerful, like they're stronger than I guess the average noob Shadow. They're still like level 2 or 3 or whatever, right? They don't seem to be like complete noobs, right? They kind of avoid her and so on, yeah. So they have some skills, right? So she fights them, and she's like, okay, I took care of the parents, but then the daughter, right, is the actual parent. She's the one that actually spawned them inside of her, obviously fake parents, right? So in actuality, it's the little girl that is the actual mother, right? And yeah, she has the mother voice for that matter, I believe. They can give me right, so it's kind of some connection there. But certainly, I think that's really interesting how she's the little like super demon, right? And the parents are just decoys, right? But we think about it from an actual like evil standpoint here, right? From a demonic standpoint, as we call it, she's the actual mother, right? And the parents are her actual children, right? But of course, from the visual human standpoint, the parents are the reverse, right? But that's why I like it, because I've seen all the stuff too. But it's like a classic evil strategy, right? How you pretend to be the weakest family member of this evil, demon home or whatever. But you're the actual matriarch, yeah, the actual like vampire queen is the actual little girl, right? Classic strategy, right? And you see it in, I don't want to spoil, but all the horror movies, right, and vampire movies, right? The girl's actual, yeah, the little super demon or a super vampire is actually a kid, right? It's been alive for 1,000 years or whatever. And usually, like a vampire is explained, of course, because they don't age. So if someone made you into a vampire like 1,000 years ago, you will still be a kid, right? So you look like a harmless kid, but you actually might have the highest power, right? Because maybe the body size doesn't matter, because it's like how much blood have you drank together with it, right? And so on. But all that being said, though, she still, of course, she has way more powers. She's clearly more competent, right? And I feel it is portrayed as that her parents, or I mean her kids then, are stronger than the other shadows, some of them at least. So they are definitely higher level. She's even higher level, right? And I guess to me, she comes off as the second strongest shadow after, of course, the big papa, I have all this power, yeah. After the true, like, master shadow, that the OG shadow guy. She's probably like the second strongest, right? At least so far in the show, right? That's how it feels. But I want to point out that I do find interesting that with all that said, though, she's still limited by her body, though. Yeah, like she has a better shadow power, better evasion, all this stuff, right? Better like shadow skills. You can split her shadow or whatever, or she can transform it much better and so on. But at the end of the day, she still can only be a little girl. Yeah, like she can't make her. They don't seem to be able to duplicate in something else, right? They can of course create a new shadow, but it's not like she can become an adult, right? So she's still weakened by having a physically weaker body, though. So I think it's interesting. And again, I know I come with the vampires, but to me, at least from a horror standpoint, it definitely must be most of these like old Asian kid vampires. So yes, they might have the best magical power, right? They might have the best like telekinetic and so on, telepower and so on, because they have the old vampires. But they still usually have the weakness of, yes, you're still a kid, right? The weakness is still like you are still the weakest vampire from an actual fighting standpoint. They might still be weaker. Might have the best magic, right? But you might be able to take a punch because you're still like a 10-year-old that's been a permanent 10-year-old, so your body can't take any actual damage, right? That's kind of how she is so open. Even she is more resilient than the other ones, but still, like he kind of launches to her, right? Jinpei jumps at her, and she can't avoid. She's a tiny girl. She has the weakness still to be a tiny girl, though. She still is weakened by being a tiny girl body, right? It's like permanently a tiny girl body. That being said, though, she took over this body a few years ago, so I do wonder if she sort of ages. She's of course a tiny girl and not that tall and so on. She could have been the same height for these years, right? It's not exactly like how long has she been in her body, but very likely again, since probably the drowning, right? I don't know. They don't really explain that. I mean, she kind of hints at her not being kind of tiny and so on. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe I do wonder if she actually ages, right? So maybe they aren't like vampires. Maybe she actually can be alive as a teenage girl and become a woman eventually. Perhaps. I mean, thinking about it, that might be one thing actually with all the shadows. That some of these shadows we don't know are shadows yet. Like maybe some adults are shadows, right? They might actually be shadows for years. And people don't know because they like they have been there for they actually do age, right? Perhaps it's interesting, right? So we come into the I also think it's interesting, right? We come into the last scene, of course, after this with Usho coming back home after writing. But yeah, like he feels that he's in love with, you know, Boob Looper as well, right? She got the biggest oppa, so I understand. I mean, she got the biggest assets. I mean, I get it, you know. No, but seriously, right? I mean, he's of course idolizing her more than Arthur. But he's sort of like, you're gonna be my girl, you protect me. Yeah. He started like, would you be my wifey forever? Like, he certainly seems to have a thing for her, right? Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think it's of course gonna end up with Ushio probably, but it still feels a little bit yet another, you know. This anime turning into a harem. I mean, come on. You got Mio, you got his two sisters, and now you also got the Arthur Warrior Shadow Lady. No, but come on, she's like, I will protect you, and he's like, touch my hand. Like, yeah. He's like, please be my guardian. Yeah, please. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, I'm so honorable to touch you. You're so beautiful. Yeah, he's like, oh my god. He's getting all like, you know, like, oh my god. I can touch the hottest woman ever. Yeah, he get that feeling, right? So I do find it interesting how he's, yeah, kind of getting into that, you know, like, oh my god, do I have a thing here? So it's coming more natural, man. That's gonna, of course, as I said, right, in my reaction, I was like, she's coming there. As I said in my reaction, damn, Ushio is back, right? And I think you can guess this. I think you can guess exactly. I mean, I get to see in the beginning because I love the thing. I was like, oh my god, she's gonna be here, right? Yeah, I think you can guess it correctly that Ushio was gonna be like, Tadaima! but seriously, the only thing I can expect after this scene, I said in reaction part 2, is that absolutely right. Mia's gonna come back in here, right? And she's gonna be like, you know, took a shower or something, right? So she's gonna come in and be all sexy and be like, yeah, but you wanna eat food with me, you know? She was clearly preparing some, you know, dinner for him, right? Being like, let's have a date, you know? She's gonna come in and be all like, you know, sexy, be like, oh yeah, I wanna seduce him. And then her sister's still like, oh, I'm back alive. She's like, so, yeah, so it's definitely gonna be a mixture of natural and, you know, weird horror surprise. Yeah, like, aren't you dead, sister? She's gonna be happy, you know. But I think I love this anime, but it's very, very anime, very hentai, I feel, right? That they keep mixing this. Yes, she's happy that the sister's alive, right? But it's clearly always gonna be like, she's also getting pissed off because sister's trying to sleep with her boyfriend, right? Basically, yeah. Of course, they're on dating, but at a point in her vision, like, this gonna be a boyfriend, right? And she's, you know, making food for him, trying to be a waifu, you know, trying to do the waifu thing, all that stuff, right? And she's clearly gonna come back in here again. I bet you much. She's clearly gonna come back in this episode and be like, yeah, but you wanna maybe watch a movie with me, take out that relaxed time, you know? Yeah, she's clearly trying to seduce him. At the end of the day, right, she's clearly trying to seduce the main character, and when she returns next episode, right, in the beginning of this episode, she's gonna come in, as I said, right, and see her sister trying to seduce the main character. It's gonna piss her off, right? But also it's gonna make her happy. So I love the anime keeps doing this weird happiness / natural. Yeah, it's like, no, that's my boyfriend. I mean, no, like, you're alive, it's awesome, but also stop sleeping with my boyfriend. You know, yeah, this weird emotional feelings for this poor Mio. Mio is like a goddamn victim, man. She's gonna have this like constant roller coaster of emotions. Yeah, like, because of course she's gonna be happy that she's alive, I guess. Also be weirded out by it, you know. But also be angry that, why are you trying to sleep with my guy? Definitely. Like we saw at the festival, right? So, but yeah. Subscribe if that's fun, you know. Hammer that like button, guys. And I see you guys with Demon Girl. And of course tomorrow we have Kaguya-sama and Virgin Road, right? Another time traveling anime. And of course you get next week with more summertime. So yeah, see you guys and have a great day.